Hi, welcome to Budget MTG Decks. All magic fun, all cards under $1. I'm David.
I'm Stefan.
And today we're going to be looking at all the white cards in Eldritch Moon.
So this guide will help you evaluate cards for limited, so draft and sealed. For your pre-release, you'll be playing six boosters, 2 from Shadows of Innistrad and 4 from Eldritch Moon. And for draft, it will probably be 2 Eldritch Moon and 1 Shadows of Innistrad.
Yeah, this is a very exciting episode because it's a very cool, very flavorful, awesome. It's a smaller set, but it is really cool. And we're going to be evaluating these cards according to our own tier method. It is tier 1. If we evaluate a card as tiered 1, it means it is an excellent card. It means it pushes us into playing that color. It is going to be either a bomb or unconditional removal, to which we say, yes, awesome, I want to play with this card. Let's go look if we can find any other cards that can help us build that deck. Then we've got tier 2, that's a really good card. Either if we're already in that color, then it's an auto include. And if we have multiple of these cards, then we say, you know what, we're probably going to look to see if we're going to be playing that color. Then we have tier 3, those are the filler cards. We're going to use those to fill out our mana curve. We've got a hole here and there. Oh, we don't have enough 2 drops, we don't have enough 3 drops. We use the tier 3 cards to fill up our mana curve. And finally, we have the cards that we say, just put those aside. We don't give those a score. We just don't look at them, put them away. Maybe they have a good purpose in constructed, but not in this format. So let's have a look. We're going to first look at all the common cards.
So let's look at the white commons. So the Trademan Standard Bearer is a 1 white, a human soldier, a 1/1, and it's an activated ability for 1 and a white. You can tap it, discard a card, and you can put a 1/1 white human soldier creature onto the battlefield. So at tier 3, it does things, it helps you discard late game. So it's a good filler.
Yeah, the way I see it, I kind of like it. It's a 1/1 for 1, which I don't like. However, the ability is relevant because on turn 2, you could pay 2 mana, tap this guy, and then turn one of your lands that maybe you think, oh, mana flooded. You can turn that into a 1/1 white human soldier. On top of that, the creature that you're popping down, that token, is a human, which is actually quite relevant in this set and in the last set, as you will see. So another point is because you'll be playing with your pre-release with also packs of Shadows over Innistrad, don't forget to watch our Shadows over Innistrad review as well. The link will be on your screen. Then let's look at the next card, that is Sigarden Priest for 2 mana, a 1/2. Not a very exciting body for 2 mana. I'd rather have a 2/2 body when it comes to 2 mana creatures. But it has the ability to pay a generic mana, tap it, and then tap target non-human creature. I kind of like it because all the big, really big, ugly stuff that's going to be hitting your face hard, those are not humans. Usually humans are much smaller. So it is kind of nice to be able to, every turn, shut down your opponent's big fatty. So yeah, turn tier 3, I would say.
So the next one, Loon of Mantle, 1 on white, enchantment aura, enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has 1, sacrifice a permanent, this creature gains flying to end of turn. So you can sacrifice permanents to give it flying, but it's an aura, so it's not that great.
No, you're going to 2 for 1 yourself. You might say, hey, 2 mana to give something +2/+2 is pretty strong. I mean, it is a good boost. However, they're definitely going to target it with removal. And then you lost this card, you lost your creature. It's feel that. Plus, the set doesn't have too much stuff that you want to be sacrificing permanents, like in Constructed, where it might be way more useful. So indeed, just put it aside.
Yeah. And if you sacrifice a permanent, then they kill your creature. You got 2 for 1.
Ugh, even worse. You don't even want that. Next card, Steadfast Cathar for 2 mana, a 2/1. That's already a little bit better because it does deal 2 damage when it's swinging. It's a human soldier, which is relevant creature type. And whenever this guy attacks, it gets +0/+2 until the end of turn. So actually, when it's attacking, it's a 2/3. And for 2 mana, that is actually really relevant. I like it. I would actually say, well, it's still filler because it's not gonna, push me into white. But for 2 mana, it's a really good filler. It's up there.
Yeah. So the next one, Guardian of the Pilgrims. 1 on white, Spirit Cleric, and it's a 2/2, and when he enters the battlefield, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So it's a 2 mana 2/2, so it's a bear, and it has a plus side when it enters the battlefield. Yeah. So a tier 3.
Yeah, very nice. As you already said at the beginning, it's relevant, and later on it's also relevant because you can use its ability, so it's a pretty good tier 3. Next one, Ironclad Slayer for 3 mana. We get a 3/2 human warrior. As we saw already, humans relevant. And when this guy enters the battlefield, when you turn target aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, you're gonna look at this, you say sealed, limited. No, you want to put it aside, but don't, because for 3 mana, a 3/2 is still a very good filler card, even if you've got no auras, even if you've got no equipment. Just for that, it is already a pretty decent tier 3 filler card, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so what's the next one?
Both Grace. 2 and a white, instant. It has 2 modes and it has Escalate. So this first time we'll see Escalate. It has a cost and you can pay the cost for every mode you choose after the first one. So the Escalate cost is 1 and a white, and then you can choose one or both. So the creature you control get +2/+0 until end of turn, or the creature you control get +0/+2 until end of turn. So, and for 5 mana you have both.
Yeah, pretty nice.
Yeah, so it's a decent filler card. It's really nice since it pumps all your creatures or it buffs all your creatures, so it's all 5 things.
Yeah, so when it comes to removal, you got your 3 levels. You got your unconditional removal, you got your conditional removal, and then you've got your combat tricks. This one falls into the 3rd category, so it's not great. However, the fact that if you're playing white, you got a lot of smaller guys, you're pumping all of them, that means the increase after 3 creatures, you're already doing a lot more damage. And of course the fact that if you do have 5 mana, +2/+2 is going to protect and kill in combat. So I actually think it's going to lead to some pretty nasty blowouts if you use this in limited. Next one, Iron Right's Cleansing for 3 mana. It's a sorcery. Exile target artifact or enchantment. No. Sure, people play artifacts and enchantments in limited. However, usually there's so few and far in between that if you're going to use a slot to get rid of their things, it's just not going to pan out. You know, just put it aside. If you're playing somebody who's going heavy artifact and enchantment, you could always sideboard it in your second game. But just don't include it in your main board, please.
So the next one, Desperate Sentry. It's 2 and a white, it's a human soldier, a 1/2, and when he dies, you can put a 3/2 colors Eldrazi horror creature on the battlefield. And if you have Delirium, so remember Delirium, if you have 4 or more types around cards in your graveyard, then it gets activated and he will get +3/+0.
Yeah.
So it's like a decent card since when it dies, you can get a 3/2, and when you have Delirium, it's a 4/2, which turns into a 3/2 when it dies.
Yeah.
So I like it a lot.
Early game, it's a chump blocker. People don't want to attack because they think, then you're going to have a 3/2, which is essentially haste because they attack, yours dies, and then your turn, it doesn't have summoning sickness anymore, so you can attack with it. So they think, okay, I don't want to attack into you. Late game, your Delirium might be activated because it's late game, so all this stuff has been dying going into the graveyard. And then you've got a 3/2, which they also, a 4/2, which they kind of want to kill, but they also don't want to, so it puts people in an awkward situation. Way better than a filler card, in my opinion. So if you're in white, just pop it in there, tier 2.
Tier 2.
Then we have Choking Restraints for 3 mana. It's an aura, and we can enchant a creature, and then that creature can't attack or block. So it's basically a pacifism, sorry. And for 5 mana, we get to sacrifice this aura and then exile enchanted creature. So later down the line, we can just say, okay, we're just going to get rid of this thing entirely if we don't want it to, for example, be using its abilities or something.
Yeah, you can also, like, if someone removes the Choking Restraint in response, you can...
In response, yes, if you happen to have 5 mana open, which is kind of unlikely, but still just a pacifism. Normally it's 2 mana, in this case it's 3 mana. I still think very, very playable, really good removal. Just pop it on your opponent's fatties, which they want to use to swing with, and then they can't do anything with it anymore until they remove it, which they probably can't. So in that case, tier 2, good removal.
Yeah. So next one, Dawn-Gryph. 2 and a white, it's a Hippogriff. It's a 2/2 flying. So it's a 2/2 flying for 3, that's really good. So just put it in tier 2.
Yeah, flyers always do really well in limited environments. They do a lot of damage. Early game, especially this one's only 3 mana for a 2/2 flyer, is going to be doing tons and tons of damage. And later on in the game, it's still relevant because it's a flyer and it's still going to be able to fly over all your opponent's big blockers. So it is always going to be doing work. Definitely a strong tier 2. If I've got a couple of these, then I'm definitely looking to play white. The next one is Spectral Reserves for 4 mana as a sorcery, which allows us to put 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. We also gain 2 life. Now, the 2 life, not super relevant. Sure, there's some things that like it when you gain life, but 2 is not exactly a large amount of life, so let's just ignore that for a second. So for 4 mana, we get 2 1/1 flyers. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be good if you're going for particular strategy. It is an okay filler. I'm leaning towards filler, but I probably won't include it if I have halfway decent creatures at 4 mana. What do you think?
Yeah, it's the back end of the fillers.
Yeah.
So if you don't have anything, then you could play it. I mean, if you need some blockers in the air, sure. It's still 2 power. Still same amount of power, toughness as the Dawngrave, but another mana.
Extra, yeah. So, and essentially there's 2 ways you're going to use it. Either you're going wide, you're trying to get as many tokens and small creatures as possible, and you want to pump them. Then this one you could include it. Or you're going a flying strategy. You're saying, okay, I got a bunch of flyers, and this one's just going to be extra flyers, and that's going to be good. But other than that, bottom of tier 3.
So the next one, Fiendbinder. 3 and a white, it's a human soldier, a 3/2, and when the Fiendbinder attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. So it's a 3/2 for 4. It's a bit expensive, but when she attacks, you can tap a creature. So
Nice.
that's nice.
Yeah.
So a good filler.
Exactly. Also, because you don't have to pay mana to tap that creature, then they can't block with that creature. It makes it really difficult for your opponent to stop this Fiendbinder and any other creatures that you're attacking with. Sure, it might get killed by a 2/2, but then again, if they have a 2/2 and a 3/3, then you just attack and you tap the 2/2, then they have to block with a 3/3 if they want, and that's going to trade. So I actually think it's actually pretty good filler. Pretty good filler, tier 3. Then the last one of the commons, we have Faithbearer Paladin for 5 mana. We get a 3/4, and I think for 5 mana, 3/4 body, pretty decent. 5 toughness is relevant. 5 toughness is very relevant because we're gonna have a lot of creatures that have 3 power in this set, and the last set, of course. So 4 toughness. So 4 toughness is relevant because the 3 power is going to get stopped by this guy. And what's also very important is, of course, it's got lifelink, and there's not a lot of creatures in this set that have lifelink. Could be able to push you back. Am I super excited? No. Is it a good filler? Yes. Tier 3. Okay. Those are the commons for white. Let's have a look at the uncommons. We're going to start the uncommon cards with Lone Rider. For 2 mana, we get a 1/1 first strike, lifelink, and at the beginning of the next end step, if we gain 3 or more life, we get to transform this guy.
So we talked about the 3 power lifelinker?
Yes, this is the guy, this Lone Rider loves that other guy. However, at the beginning of the game, you may say, okay, 1 power, 1 toughness is very small. You may be poking at them, gaining 1 life, not too impressive. However, what happens if you do gain that 3 life? It becomes it that rides as 1, which means that it is a 4/4 Eldrazi Horror with first strike, trample, and lifelink. Now this card will win you the game.
Yeah.
Downright.
Yeah.
This card will win you the game. There's no way they're going to be able to get back. They can't chump block. You're gaining life. You're swinging in. They're taking damage. So the question is, if you've got your Lone Rider, are we going to build around it?
Not build around it.
Nope.
No. I just want to play it though.
The question is, if you have this card, right, you open it up, are you going to be looking for all these life linking cards, which there are not a lot of, or cards that maybe aren't that great but which do gain you life?
I mean, maybe a couple, I think.
Okay. I say tier 2 because I definitely want to pop it in. I think for 2 mana, being the first strike, having the lifelink, super scary if you can pump it, and people of course don't know if you got your combat tricks.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you've pumped it, it became a 3/1, for example, with first strike and lifelink. It's going to transform, plus it probably killed something. It becomes kind of scary for people to block it, and then if they don't, you're still just poking at them for 1 damage and doing 2 points of life swing every
That
turn.
helps with all the combat tricks in white.
Exactly.
Also, the 4 mana one gives 2 life with the lifelink on itself.
Correct.
That's 3.
Yeah. So, and there's another card that actually might help Lone Rider. Why don't you introduce that one?
Yeah, so Blessed Alliance. 1 on the white, instant. It has 3 modes and escalate 2. So for 2 mana you can do 2. For 4 mana you can do, for 2 mana you can do 1. For 4 mana you can do 2. And for 6 mana you can do all 3 of them.
Yeah.
What we didn't say is that you can only choose 1 mode once. So you cannot pay more mana and choose the same mode twice.
Yeah.
But the first mode is target player gains 4 life.
Ooh, Lone Rider likes that.
Yeah. And untap up to 2 target creatures, and target opponent sacrifice an attacking creature. So the life gain isn't that relevant, but the rest is.
Super, yeah. Untapping up to 2 target creatures. You know, your opponent attacks into you. You say, haha, I pay 2 mana. I attack my 2 creatures, then I'm going to block. That's going to be super nasty. Well, you can also say, I'm attacking you with my big fatty. Say, okay, I'm paying 2 mana. You know what? You got to sacrifice an attacking creature. Okay, they have to lose their thing. Worse, if you got 4 mana up, then you say, okay, first you sacrifice something, then I untap my 2 things, and I chump block the other guy. It's going to be an absolute blowout. I really love this card. I think it's going to be doing massive, massive work in your sealed deck or in your draft deck. I say tier 2 because it's auto-include for me in white, and I've got multiple of these. I think, wow, this is... I'm definitely playing white if I got multiples. Yeah, cool. I seem to be a little bit more excited about it than
it's really good.
Yeah,
really good.
He's containing himself. You know, when he gets too excited, it gets overboard. So he's keeping it down.
Also, don't forget to say haha when you tap your creatures.
Why do you have to say haha?
That's what you said.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Haha, tap my creatures.
That's actually required. All right, then we got Geist of the Lonely Vigil for 2 mana. It's a 2/3 flyer, which is really, really relevant. However, it does have Defender, so you can't attack with it. Can't attack with it. But it does have Delirium, and if you do have Delirium, then it can attack as though it didn't have Defender. I think it's actually a pretty good filler because at 2 mana, it's going to be blocking your opponent's other 2 mana creature, which are your 2/2 bears, for example, and it's going to be winning. And if they got 1/1 flyers, it's going to be killing those as well. So it's actually going to put you in a very strong defensive position, and people find it much harder to attack into it versus a wall, for example, because they will lose stuff. So a very strong upper tier 3, I would say.
Same here. It's just annoying that you really have to get the Delirium to actually attack, but it's a good defender.
Very good.
So, Peace of Mind. 1 on a white, it's enchantment, and you can pay a white and discard a card to gain 3 life. 3 life, that's what we needed.
No.
You don't?
No, even if you need it, it's such a bad card. Sure, you can use it for your madness, and you're gaining life, but you're still paying. So you're still paying your madness cost plus this 1 white to be able to do it. So it's not even a free discard outlet. I say put it aside.
Put it aside.
Yeah. And then we've got Repel the Abominable for 2 mana. We get an instant, which says prevent all damage that would be dealt this turn by non-human creatures. Sure, human type is relevant, so you might say, oh, I'm gonna go all humans, and then and then I can blow them out. So the problem is everybody else also is gonna have humans, and the thing is you don't know who's gonna have it, and if you're gonna main board this, the problem is it might help your opponent just as much as it might help you, and you don't really want that in your cards. So I would say put it aside.
Yeah. So, a long road home. For 1 on a white, it's an instant. You can exile target creature, but at the beginning of the next end step, you have to return it on the battlefield under owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. So, it can help you to protect your own things, to get to the last damage. So, it's a decent filler card.
Yeah, it doesn't get rid of your opponent's creature permanently, and it also buffs it, so you really can only use it if you're going to win the game that turn. And to protect your own creature, sure, somebody's going to remove your bomb, but then again, you do have to have that 2 mana open. Still filler though, because it will protect your creature at least once.
Yeah.
Then we got Extricator of Sin for 3 mana. We get a 0/3 human cleric. When this guy enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another permanent. So in this case, it could be a land, could be enchantment, could be creature. And then if you do, put a 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horror creature token onto the battlefield. It also has Delirium, which means that at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have Delirium, then you get to transform this guy. Before it transforms, let's first have a look at it just by itself. For 3 mana, we get a 0/3 and a 3/2, but we also have to sacrifice something else, another creature, for example. I don't really like it that much because when you're on turn 3 and you do this and you use your land, for example, then you're down a land, which you don't really want. Later, sure, you could sacrifice a token, but if you've got so many smaller tokens, you're probably going token strategy. Yeah, okay, then the 3/2 would actually buff that 1 token. That is actually the only time when it would be okay. But then we didn't see that many cards that do make 1/1 tokens as of yet. So I'm not sure if this is going to be very, very relevant. I would say, long story short, okay filler. Could blow yourself out by removing, for example, your land to put the token, and then somebody kills your token, and then you're down 2 for 1. Not great, but let's see what happens when it transforms. It becomes Extricator of Flesh. it becomes a 3/5 Eldrazi horror with Eldrazi you control Vigilance, so this guy's also got Vigilance. And of course your 3/2 Eldrazi tokens are going to have Vigilance, which is cool. And pay 2, tap it, sacrifice a non-Eldrazi creature to put a 3/2 Eldrazi colorless horror creature token onto the battlefield. Now this is of course super cool, very impressive, very strong. This card, if in its transform form, will win you the game.
Yeah.
Because every turn you can turn your smaller white guys or the other colored creatures that you're playing with into big 3/2s, which is very nice, and they've got Vigilance. So together, Stefan, what do you see the odds of being able to turn Extricator of Sin into Extricator of Flesh?
Not that high. I saw every color has some discard outlets, but not all of them are that great. So I don't think it will be that easy to do it, but you can also sacrifice a permanent, so that helps.
It's a difficult card.
Yeah.
It's a difficult card, and that's why I think we're going to go with tier 3, because even if you don't transform it, for 3 mana, having a 0/3, which will also make a 3/2, which you also sacrifice something for, I think it's still decent.
Yeah.
Still decent, yeah. But it's a difficult one, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, tier 3 like middle. Not.
You're going to have to look at this one long and hard.
But yeah.
All right.
So Dog's Shield Mate. 2 and a white, it's a Spirit Soldier, 2/3 with Flash, and when Dog's Shield Mate enters the battlefield, all the creatures you control get +0/+1 until end of turn. So it's a really nice combat trick. It also has a body, so I like it.
Yeah, the Flash is gonna kill a 2/2 because he's got 3 toughness, so that's pretty nice. It's gonna blow them out of the attack, and of course, pumping the butts of the other creatures. That's going to be relevant for the other guys that are going to be blocking. So it's going to be a nice little blowout. And still, just a 3/2, a 2/3 for 3 mana is decent. So, so good filler. Good filler. Yeah. Give no ground for 4 mana. It's an instant. Target creature gets +2/+6 till the end of turn and can block any number of creatures. Okay. Combat trick once again. So this is the 3rd level of removal, let's say. But that's 6 toughness. That's huge. I mean, just putting it on a 2/2 is going to make it a 4/8, and nothing's really going to kill that. So then again, 4 mana is quite high. So it's not that great. I would say tier 3, kind of mid to low.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it isn't the greatest thing, but if you really need something to not die, then this is.
Yeah. And you're probably going to be using it when they attack into you. Yeah. Because you can block into any number of creatures, so you can actually at least kind of fog yourself for 1 turn, even if the thing does die.
You can kill big things with it anyway, so.
Yeah. So yeah, tier 3 still, though, because it's 4 mana, you gotta keep it open.
So Fate Unbroken, 3 and a white, enchantment aura, enchanted creature you control. And when it enters the battlefield, you can exile target creature an opponent controls until Fate Unbroken leaves the battlefield. And enchanted creature gets +2/+2. So it buffs a creature of you, and it exiles a creature.
Nice.
Yeah, but when your creature dies, it comes back. So I don't think it's that bad since it helps you with the creature, but
it's not an Oblivion Ring.
Yeah,
it's not going to be. It's not unconditional removal. It will unconditionally remove something for at least, most likely, the turn that you're attacking with. So you could put this on one of your flyers. Like say, even if you got a 1/1 flyer, then it becomes a 3/3 flyer. You can attack with it. That big thing that they have is gone from the turn. Then it does make it the biggest magnet for removal on the planet, because if it kills it, it gets rid of this card, it gets rid of the creature, and they get that creature back, which is of course the feel bad of the century. This is a card for gamblers. This is a card for people who say, I'm going all in. If it works, you're gonna crush. If they remove it instant speed, you're going to be crying and they're going to be going haha. So it depends. How do you feel lucky, punk? I guess that's the question you got to ask yourself. Yeah, Stefan is still quite sick. Yeah. And he said he couldn't do the review because he's coming down with something. I said I don't care. You're just doing it, right?
Yeah. He has been chaining me up in his basement. I haven't left since the last review. Yeah,
it's pretty moldy down there, so that's probably why he got sick in the first place. But show must go on and all that. So
send help.
What is the next card? Is Courageous Outrider for 4 mana, Human Scout, a 3/4. 4 toughness is relevant. It's pretty good. And when this guy enters the battlefield, we can look at the top 4 cards of the library, look, see if there's a human in there. We can put it into our hand, put the rest of the cards at the bottom of our library in any order. 3/4 body for 4 mana is good body, so that already makes it tier 3 off the bat. If you're not playing humans, then it's still good. It's still good filler for 4 mana. If you are, then it actually gets pretty good if you got a lot of humans in there, and there are a lot of humans in sets, so there's a good chance you can. Then it would even become, you know, higher level of tier 3, top level, maybe even tier 2 if you got a lot of humans.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing white, you'll probably play at least another human, so there's always a chance that it finds something.
Yeah, and if not, still good filler.
Yeah. So, Subjugator Angel, 4 and 2 white, is an 4/3 angel with flying, and when she enters the battlefield, you can tap all creatures your opponent controls. So it's nice when you want to swing in for a lot of damage.
Yeah, not only that, you get a 4/3 flyer, and 4 damage in the air is massive, and we all know that at 6 mana in limited, we're going to reach that. This is basically an evasion bomb. Will win you the game either on the turn it comes in by being able to do the lethal damage, or by setting it up that you've got a flyer, which can do a lot of damage in the air. I would say tier 2. If I got a couple, well, probably not, wouldn't play more than 2 of these anyway, but if I'm in white, then it's definitely an auto include.
Yeah. Tier 2.
Yeah, tier 2. Those are the uncommons. Let's have a look at the rares. The first of the rares is Sigarda's Aid. For 1 white, we get an enchantment, and it states that we get to cast aura and equipment cards as though they had flash. Also, whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach it to a target creature you control. In Constructed, this is awesome. In Commander, lovely. It's going to be so much fun. But we're talking in your pre-release, we're talking limited, we're talking sealed, and draft. And it's not good there. That's, I think, all we can really say about it, right?
Yeah, it's not great.
Put it aside.
Yeah. So the next one, Selfless Spirit. It's 1 and a white, it's Spirit Cleric. It's a 2/1 with flying, and you can sacrifice it to give all your creatures indestructible this turn. So I really like it. I mean, it's a 2/1 with flying for 2, so that's decent, and you can sacrifice to protect all your dudes.
Yeah, exactly. It's not tier 1 because it's not going to be winning you the game by itself, but if you're in white already, a 2/1 flyer for 2 is auto-include. It's going to be doing tons of damage, and as Stefan already said, that being able to sacrifice it to protect your big bomb, for example, to the end of the turn, is going to be relevant, and it might actually just protect your creature just because of the threat that it can sacrifice it to protect the creature. So and then it will still stay alive anyway, which is because of the threat. Then we have Thalia Heretic Cathar for 3 mana, a 3/2 with first strike. As we already said, 3 toughness is relevant, so this thing can kill 3 toughness things with first strike. And also, creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tap. Now, we don't have a lot of non-basics when we're playing in our pre-release. So that's not too relevant, but your creatures that your opponent plays, they won't be able to block that turn. So that might be quite relevant. I would say tier 1, because it does make me want to play white.
Yeah, and the 3 power first strike is also pretty relevant, so tier 1, yeah.
Yeah, very good. Then what's the next one?
Collective Effort. 1 and 2 white. It's a sorcery with also escalate. You can tap an untapped creature you control for the ability, and then you can destroy target creature power 4 or greater, destroy target enchantment, or put a +1/+1 counter on each target creature a player controls. So that's really nice.
That is the understatement of the century, Stefan. That is really nice. It is unbelievable. This is as tier 1 as it's gonna get. It's removal. It was got 2 types of removal on it. I mean, the second one's not that relevant, but just imagine paying 3 mana and tapping 1 creature. Then you're destroying a creature with power 4 greater, so they're a big bomb, and you're also buffing all your tiny little guys, your 1/1 flyers, your humans, or any other creatures you've got on the table. They're all getting a +1/+1 counter, and you did that for just 3 mana plus tapping 1 of those creatures. I mean, yeah, that is huge. It makes me want to look for all the other white cards to see if we can make this work.
Yeah, you don't really need that many things to make this good. So just play creatures which you actually want
Absolutely, absolutely. Then we have Sanctifier of Souls for 4 mana. We get a 2/3 human cleric, and when another creature enters the battlefield under your control, this guy gets +1/+1 to the end of turn. Well, we don't have ways of getting multiple creatures onto the battlefield at the same time. Not going to happen very often, so usually it's just going to get the +1/+1, so it's going to be a 3/4. Not bad, not bad. But it's got an ability, and that's for 3 mana. We have to exile a creature card from our graveyard and then put a 1/1 white spirit creature token onto the battlefield. And this thing's got flying. The cool thing about it, it doesn't say anything about this only being able to be done when you can play a sorcery. Because you can do this instant speed. You've got a flyer, it's a blocker, this guy becomes bigger, and that could be a nice little combat trick that you do as well. And you don't need to tap for it, so you can also use it when you're attacking. Really good, actually, does a lot of work. Late game, you're recycling all your graveyard creatures, you're making them into spirits. I would say auto-include if I'm in white tier 2.
Yeah. So next one, Talia's Lancers. 3 and 2 white, it's a 4/4 human knight with first strike. And when they enter the battlefield, you can make search your library for a legendary card, reveal it and put it in your hand and then shuffle your library. So it searches up for a legendary card, which isn't really that relevant in limited.
No.
I mean, if you happen to get another one, that's great, because then it can search up for your bomb.
Yeah.
But it's tier 2 anyways, since it's a 4/4 legendary.
Yeah.
4/4 first strike.
Yeah, 4/4. You could, if you have your Thalia, then of course, I would say small chance. That second ability might as well not be there in limited. Just play it because it's a 4/4 first strike, which is going to kill everything. Then we have a Providence for 7 mana. Whew, that's expensive. We got a sorcery, but we can reveal it in our opening hand. So if we start with it in our opening hand, then at the beginning of our first upkeep, our life total becomes 26. So essentially we start the game with 26 life rather than 20. Pretty cool, we didn't have to pay anything for that. And of course, if we do pay 7 mana down the line, our life total becomes 26 again, which is nasty, especially late game. They've gotten you down to 4, they've gotten you down to 3, and then you play this here, whoop, I'm back up to 26. However, it doesn't change the board state. So essentially, if you're losing, you're still going to be losing, you just buy yourself more time. So that's why I would say tier 3. It could be a filler card if you really want to play the kind of late game strategy. Otherwise, you shouldn't be playing this. If you want to race somebody or something that's completely irrelevant. So tier 3.
Yeah. So the next one, Bruna, the Fading Light. 5 and 2 white. It's an Angel Aurora. It's a 5/7. And when you cast Bruna, the Fading Light, you may return to an Angel or Human creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And has Flying and Vigilance. So it can probably reanimate something. Since 7 mana, you're playing white, you probably have a human in the graveyard, so it comes back, and then it's still a 5/7 with Flying and Vigilance. I really like this one, so I want to say tier 1.
Yeah, I would say tier 1 as well. If I've got this one, I'm going to be looking to see if I've got any angels, if I've got any humans. Might not have angels, but I will definitely have at least a few humans.
Yeah.
That is going to give us great card advantage because it doesn't only put the creature back to our hand, but it puts it right onto the battlefield. And 5/7 in the air. That's insane. Nothing can stop this thing. That is going to be winning you the game. All right, those are the rares. Actually, let's say something else about Bruna is that she melds with Gisela the Broken Blade. So where is she? Let's have a look at the Mythic cards. So, Gisela the Broken Blade for 4 mana, 2 of which have to be white. We get a 4/3 flying first strike lifelink. That is so incredibly powerful. The fact it's flying, the fact that it's 4 power first strike, and the fact that it's going to be doing 8-point life swing if it deals damage because you're gaining the 4 life is insane.
And that she gets reanimated by Bruna because it's an angel.
Yes, I don't think you probably won't have them both, but if you do, should you be living in that magical land where you do have both of these cards, it has a special, Gisela has a special clause which states that at the beginning of your end step, if you both own and control Gisela the Broken Blade and a creature named Bruna the Fading Light, exile both of them and then meld them into Brizella Voice of Nightmare. So this is how it works. Both cards have a backside. At the backside, there's each half of Brizella Voice of Nightmare. So you basically put those two next to each other after you flip them. Brizella Voice of Nightmares is a 9/10 legendary Eldrazi angel and an abomination of nature which should be killed with fire. But you cannot because it is flying, first strike, vigilance, and lifelink, plus your opponents can't cast spells with converted mana cost 3 or less, so that is going to be a pickle. If you do have it, you won the game. You might as well just say, I flip Brizella, GG, shall we play the next game, because it's just absolutely ridiculous. However, what are the odds that you got both?
You have to note though that you do not simply flip it. You have to exile both creatures and then they turn into a new creature.
Yes.
So they do have summoning sickness unless some of the things have haste or something like that.
Correct. Should somebody bounce Brizella Voice of Nightmares, then both cards flip back to their original state and go back into your hand as well.
Yeah.
Should it die, they bolt into the graveyard, flip back to their original state. However, we can talk about all the weird rule interactions with Meld. Not going to be that relevant for most people. I just don't think it's going to happen very often.
Yeah.
No.
So next one, deploy the Gatewatch. It's 4 and 2 white. It's a sorcery. And look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put up to 2 Planeswalkers cards from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. So for 6 mana, you can get 2 Planeswalkers for free.
Oh my god. So bad in Limited. So bad. Please. Even if you have one Planeswalker, just put it aside. It's never going to do anything.
They don't.
Just put it aside. Good for Constructed if you like to play the game. Wait, okay, then those are the Mythics. Let's have a look at the conclusion.
So, conclusion, I don't think white is that great. There are a couple tier 1 cards, there's some decent tier 2 cards, and good fillers. So, it isn't bad either. It's a solid color, I think.
Yeah, I think the most accurate description of white is, It's got solid filler cards, but nothing really that makes me say, okay, we gotta go and play with white because it's got so many strong cards. Sure, it's got its bombs, it's got some good evasion, some good flyers, but just not in the quantity that I would like to see them. Then again, it's also a small set. We're gonna be also adding Shadows over Innistrad cards to it, so maybe that way it will become stronger. Right now, at this point in time, though, I wouldn't put all my eggs into the white basket, right? Okay, that is our conclusion for white. We're gonna go and do the blue cards next. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like and comment on this video. Let us know what you think of these cards. Did we get any of the evaluations wrong? Should the tier 2 be a tier 1 or maybe a tier 3 go to a tier 2 or vice versa? Let us know in the comment section. Also, join us on Twitter or on Facebook. If you tweet at us, let us know what you think about these cards. Let's get the discussion going over there on Twitter. Also, after this, you're going to see the rest of the videos. You can just click on those to see all the remaining videos, including the multicolored cards, which is the last one. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm David.
And I'm Stefan.
This was Budget MTG Decks.